Hello and welcome to today's Partner Digital Series event, Navigate a Career Change with Confidence, hosted by Grow with Google. I'm Anna and I'm an instructor here at Grow with Google. On behalf of the entire team, I'd like to thank everyone for attending. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Grow with Google partners for sharing this event with people in their communities and hosting virtual viewing parties. Douglas County Public Library, Moreno Valley Business and Employment Resource Center, Utah LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, and Tech Incubator at Queens College. Grow with Google helps people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skills training and tools. This workshop was created for people at any stage of a career transition, whether you're starting to think about moving into a new job or field or already applying for positions. Your career transition might even lead you to start your own business. No matter what type of career you plan to pursue, we'll spend the next 45 minutes or so getting clear on your career goals and charting a course to achieve them. In this workshop, I'm working with my co-instructor, Sixia. Later, I'll pass it off to her to answer some of your questions live at the end of today's workshop. If you have any questions that you'd like her to answer, be sure to use the Q&A section below the video player by clicking the blue button that says Ask a Question. We'll choose the top voted question, so make sure to upvote your favorites. If we don't get to answer all of the posted questions, our team will reply directly in the Q&A shortly after the virtual event concludes. We also encourage you to use the chat feature for any comments you may have and also to engage with other attendees who are watching the workshop. This chat will be available to those who opt in and can be found directly to the right of the video player on your screen. And if you would like to access the additional resources for this class, check out the resources section below the video player on the right-hand side. This includes a copy of today's presentation. You will also be able to access a replay of this virtual event in the future by clicking On Demand on the Grow with Google on your homepage. Also, don't forget to post and share on social using the hashtag Grow with Google. Finally, you have the option to turn on YouTube's closed captioning to follow along. To do so, click the closed captioning button directly on the video player on your screen. Now, let's get started. Why is this session so relevant right now? You may have heard the term the Great Resignation a lot in the last few years. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, an unprecedented number of people have undergone career transitions. Let's look at some of the statistics. As of March of 2022, 44% of workers were looking for a new job. The quit rate in the US reached a 20-year high in November of 2021. Luckily, most people who have found new jobs are earning more money, have more opportunities for advancement, and have more flexibility to choose when they work. Some of today's activities will involve writing, so you may want to have a pen and paper handy or a digital document like a Google Doc. You'll also begin making edits to your current resume, so be ready to take notes on a printed copy of your resume, or you can make edits in an electronic copy instead. Now, let's look at the topics that we're covering today. In today's session, we'll help you gain clarity about the career change you want to make. We'll start by exploring your why, including some activities to help you get specific about your desires for the next phase of your career. Next, we'll examine the strengths and experiences you bring to the table. We'll spend some time identifying transferable skills that you can bring to your next job. We'll take the information and use it to update your resume. After that, we'll examine what you've got so far and discuss ways to fill in any gaps in your skill set. Finally, we'll create a career change plan that will help you to take clear, actionable steps towards your goals. No matter what your reasons are for changing up your career, if you're looking for a new job, you're not alone right now. When considering a career change, it's important to take some time to think about why you're looking to switch up your work life. Maybe you want more flexibility, or you've had a revelation about the type of work that feels meaningful to you. Or maybe you are frustrated with a very specific aspect of your current job. Answering the question of why you want to change your career can give you clarity on what kind of career you should pursue. It can also give you an indication of the types of work you should avoid. Even if you already have your next move in mind, knowing your why can help you focus your job search and prepare you for interviews. Think about your career goals. This chart shows 4 overlapping circles that represent elements when many people find a career rewarding. You should consider whether a potential career is something you love to do, is an area you've developed skills or expertise, is something that you get paid enough to do, and is something that the world needs. It may not be realistic or even desirable for you to find a career where all of these elements are perfectly balanced. For example, you may be at a point in your life where what I get paid for is the most important thing to you or your family. So your interests, strengths, or the world's needs may not be as important. Only you can determine the right balance between these goals, or if these are even the right motivators for your own career path. The next activity will help you get a better understanding of why behind your career by looking back at some of the meaningful experiences you've had at work. In a few moments, I'm going to give you some time to write down the best experiences of your career so far. These experiences can be the kinds of career highlights that would go on your resume, like getting a promotion or delivering a project on time and on budget. You might also have experiences that moved you, felt really great, or impacted other people, like a time you threw a colleague's retirement party or helped a coworker deliver a great presentation. Take 2 minutes to write a list of the best experiences from your career so far. Now take 1 minute to list experiences from other parts of your life, such as volunteer work, hobbies, or other interests. For example, if you organize a fundraiser event for a charity or you mentored a young person. For the second part of this activity, you'll look toward your future career by writing down some experiences you want to have at your next job. For example, maybe you want your work to positively impact your community, or maybe you want an increase in compensation or the chance to be more creative at work. To help you identify experiences you want to have, ask yourself questions like, Do you want to work with a specific group of people? Do you want to use a specific skill set? What kind of impact do you want your work to have? What do you want your workday to look like? I'll give you a few minutes to write about the experiences you want to have in your career. For the final step of this activity, look over both lists, the experiences you've had and the ones you'd like to have. Ask yourself, what themes do you see? What do these experiences have in common? Maybe a common theme is helping people or selling a product or service you believe in. Maybe it's collaborating with a great team or solving complex problems. For example, if my favorite experiences were helping retail customers find the right clothing for a big event, renting a wedding venue to a happy couple, and coaching direct reports to deliver a great presentation, the common theme would be helping people hit a big milestone in a confident, joyful way. This could lead me to a job as a career coach, a therapist, or even a project manager. Once you discover the common thread or threads of your best work experiences, write it down. You might need more time to discover what your favorite and desired experiences have in common. So feel free to come back and add to your notes later. Now take a minute to look at the lists and then find themes and experiences shared by both. Did you discover anything that surprised you? If you'd like, take a moment to share what you learned in the chat box. Your newfound insights can help you choose your field or job, or get more specific about the type of work you want to do. This specificity can help you to hone in on the right opportunities as you search for and apply to jobs, and begin interviewing for them. If you've started your own business, they will help you to make informed decisions about how to run that business. Now that you've got a better idea of the kind of work you want to pursue, it's time to get clear on what you bring to the table. Your education, career, and life experiences have given you a unique set of skills and experiences that you'll bring to any new job. In this activity, you'll look over your resume and make a list of transferable skills. Transferable skills are skills you've already acquired during your career that you can apply to future jobs. Knowing your transferable skills can help you market yourself as a candidate for a new job or work in a totally different field. For example, organizational skills like budgeting, technological skills like programming or IT management, and people skills like managing a team can be applied to many different jobs over the course of your career. Be sure to also include soft skills such as communication, emotional intelligence, adaptability, teamwork, problem solving, time management, critical thinking, organization, stress management, creativity, and persuasiveness. Take a few minutes to write down your transferable skills. If you need more time to complete this step, come back to it after the workshop. Now take another minute to write down the skills you've acquired in other activities like volunteer work, hobbies, and other commitments. If you volunteer in a soup kitchen, you might add cooking and hospitality skills. If you play a sport on the weekends, you might add that you work well with a team. Take 1 minute to add skills from your hobbies and volunteer work. Now that you have a list of your transferable skills, I'll give you a few minutes to add those skills to your resume. If you have a printed copy of your resume, just make notes on it. If your resume is in digital format, make notes directly to it or add comments. If you already know what type of job you'll be applying for, be sure you prominently feature the skills relevant to that job. For example, if you're coming from a job as a general manager of a restaurant and you're applying to jobs in real estate, highlight your skills in customer service and the ability to juggle multiple projects. transitioning from a job managing a retail sales team to a new career as a digital marketer. While you may have to learn some new digital marketing skills, you can call out your transferable skills on a resume and in an interview. For example, you can highlight your experience with sales, ability to manage a team, and experience juggling multiple projects in a fast-paced environment. Or if you've been working as a front desk receptionist and want to go into project management, you should highlight the fact that you're a strong communicator and very organized. Transferable skills make it possible to move from one field to another. It's important to identify these skills so that you can point them out to potential employers and make it clear that you're qualified for your next job. After this workshop, incorporate the edits you've made to your resume. Then take a few moments to update your profile on a professional networking site like LinkedIn. Make sure that you call out relevant transferable skills in your profile. Also check that your profile is filled out completely and that your photo is up to date and professional. In other words, it's a high quality photo that presents you in your best light. You've already started making notes on how to add transferable skills to your resume. Your resume is one of the most important tools you have to let employers know what you have to offer. In this section, I'll share a few key tips for updating your resume to help it to stand out from others. Here are 4 key things that you can do to strengthen your resume. 1, choose a professional format. 2, highlight your skills and accomplishments. 3, use specific examples and measurable details. And 4, tailor your resume to fit the specific job description. I'll explain each of these in a bit more detail. Hiring managers generally only spend a few seconds glancing over a resume to decide which ones are worth a second look. So make sure your resume looks professional, organized, and easy to read. One easy way to make sure your resume looks professional is to choose a pre-designed resume template. You can find these on writing applications like Google Docs or Word. You can also purchase a resume template from a designer or design your own. Here are some key attributes to employ when creating your resume. First, set margins to 1 inch and include plenty of white space. White space is the space on the page that isn't filled with text or graphics. It gives the reader's eye a rest. Next, use simple, readable language. Use clear headings. And finally, choose an appropriate font for the position. You want formal-looking fonts like Arial or Times New Roman are suitable for most positions, but you might be able to use something a little bit more elaborate or different for design and other creative positions. The image on the right shows a professionally formatted resume with clear headings, a plain font, and wide margins. Your resume is not supposed to be a comprehensive list of all the jobs you've ever had. Instead, it should showcase the skills and accomplishments that will make the employer want to contact you for an interview. But hiring managers need to see the skills and accomplishments that are most relevant to the job that you're applying for. And they'll likely also want to know the most recent work experience you have. So put the most recent work experience first. Don't be afraid to eliminate jobs from your resume that aren't relevant to the one that you're applying for. At the same time, if you've done other activities like part-time jobs or volunteer work that are closely related to the job you're applying for, or given you skills that would also help at that job, include them. If you need to account for a gap in your work history, volunteer work can also be a good way to show that you were active in developing your skills, even if you weren't employed. If you're starting a new career and you haven't worked in that field before, examine all the job experience or life experience that you do have and make connections wherever possible. Let's move on to citing specific examples and measurable details. What specifically have you done and how has it impacted your coworkers, your team, or the company? The example on the right shows a section of a resume listing an employee's experience from a previous job. It lists managed team, trained new employees, ran meetings effectively, and sold more than sales target. How could they have made this section more specific? One way to show this is to cite specific examples from your previous experience. Describe specific projects you worked on, improvements you made, processes you developed, or goals you attained. Describe the quality of the work you've done in the past and show how it relates to what you could provide to the employer at the new job. The second way is to use measurable details whenever possible to quantify the work that you did. For example, you might say that you increased sales at your current job. But what does that actually mean? Did you increase sales from 1 widget to 2 widgets per month, or from 1 widget to 1 million widgets? Show your impact in numbers wherever possible. This is also a great place to add any awards or recognition that you receive. These show how other people have viewed your accomplishments. Here's an improved version of this description. It includes specifics and measurable details. It includes managed a team of 8 employees, trained 15 new employees in 2 years, ran weekly team meetings with 20 attendees, and exceeded sales target by 20%, selling 20 widgets over the company set goal of 100. This description makes it clear exactly what this job applicant accomplished and how valuable they could be to a new company. Many businesses use screening or applicant tracking software to narrow the pile of possible candidates before a manager even looks at them. These computer programs scan the resumes for keywords that are in the job description. If those words don't appear often enough in the resume, or if the skills you highlight don't match the job description, the program determines that the person is not a good candidate for the position. Even if the employer is not using applicant tracking software, people also tend to scan resumes for keywords. You'll be most successful when your resume matches the language of a job description. When you create a resume for a particular job, you should incorporate as many of the keywords into your past experience and work history as possible. When you describe your past experience using the same terms the employer used in the job description, you'll have a better chance of passing screening software if the company is using it. You'll stand out more to the hiring manager, and you'll show that you paid close attention to the qualities they want in a candidate. Once you've figured out what you have to offer and how to communicate it on your resume, it's time to find the skills you need to acquire in order to become a great candidate for the job you want. After you know what skills or experience you still need to acquire, you can make a plan to get them. The first step towards identifying areas where you'll need to grow your own skills is finding out what skills employers are looking for. For example, many industries are transitioning from traditional advertising to digital marketing, and will need to hire individuals who know how to promote their business online. Data analytics skills can also help you to get exciting jobs in many fields, including finance, marketing, and business intelligence. To address a skill gap, make a plan to gain those skills by participating in more training or education through institutions like college degree programs or continuing education programs. You can also find educational resources in your local community or online. One option for online education is Google Career Certificates, flexible online training courses that can help you to land a job in high growth fields like digital marketing and e-commerce, project management, and IT support. The video on the next slide will give you a quick overview of everything Google Career Certificates has to offer.
To whom it may concern, I'm applying for the position of User Experience Designer,
Information Security Analyst,
Project Manager,
Data Analyst.
I've always been interested in helping people solve problems. Order up!
I am extremely organized.
Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome, Levy.
I have an exceptional eye for detail.
Although I haven't worked directly in this field.
Been out of the job market for a while.
I recently completed a Google Career Certificate. It's given me a solid foundation in important areas like help desk support and cybersecurity.
Thanks to my Google Career Certificate, I've completed real projects in SQL and R programming.
It helped me learn practical skills like managing budgets. Thanks to my Google Career Certificate,
I'm confident I'd be a valuable addition to your team.
Join thousands of graduates and put your skills to work with a Google Career Certificate.
You can also give yourself real-life experience in the field or job you want to pursue. One way to do this is to ask to volunteer or shadow someone who's already working in a job or industry you want to enter. Or if you find a project at your current job that's outside of your area of expertise, you can volunteer to take it on. Perhaps your retail manager sent out an email asking for sales associates to perform some data analysis about the duration of time customers who make a purchase spend in the store compared to those who don't. This could allow you to explore your interest in data analytics. You can also spend time speaking to people. Ask your friends to introduce you to people working in the career or field you're interested in. A more structured way to do this is called an informational interview. Informational interviews are not job interviews. They aren't conducted with the intent of being hired. Rather, an informational interview is meeting for the purpose of learning about a job, field, or company. And unlike a traditional interview, which is led by an employer, you'll request the interview and will be in charge of leading the conversation. So make sure that you're prepared with questions before your interview. You can ask questions about a typical day at work, the interviewee's career path and educational backgrounds, and the benefits and challenges of their chosen field. To find people you may want to ask for an informational interview, reach out to friends of friends, contacts on professional networking sites, or even individuals in a different department within your own company. You can send an email to request an informational interview. In your email, you should state your request in the subject line of your email. Keep it simple and clear, like informational interview request. Briefly explain your reason for reaching out to them. Perhaps a colleague recommended that you connect with them because of your shared career interests. Maybe they're an expert in their field and you'd like to ask them for career advice, or they made a similar career change and you want to hear how they successfully made the transition. Whatever your reason, be concise and straightforward. Then ask the recipient if they might have any availability to speak or to meet with you. Ask for no more than 20 to 30 minutes of their time. Set a friendly and professional tone. You can ask to meet in person, virtually, or to speak over the phone. Let them determine the day and time. Be flexible and open. Remember, you are asking them to take time out of their busy schedule to meet with you. Finish your request by thanking them for their time and consideration. And even though this is not a job interview, it is still a good idea to either include your resume or a link to your LinkedIn profile. If the recipient does not know you, your resume or LinkedIn profile will give them an idea of who you are, your background, experience, and your professional interests. We've spent this workshop getting clear on the why behind your job search. You've identified the skills you have to offer a new workplace and started exploring ways to gain the skills and experiences you need to get the job of your dreams. Now you're ready to make a plan. You're going to start your career plan by taking the long view. What are your ultimate career goals? Pick your top long-term career goal. Here are a few examples to get you thinking. Grow my own consulting business, become a commercial real estate agent, become a UX designer, manage a team of sales professionals. I'll give you a few moments to write down your career goal. If you'd like, share it in the chat. In the next activity, you will break your larger goals into smaller, more manageable steps called SMART goals. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So if your goal is starting to sell real estate, your SMART goal could be getting a real estate license by March. The goal of getting a real estate license is specific. You know exactly what you need to do to meet that goal. It's measurable. You will know if you earn your license or not. It's attainable. It's in your power to research and sign up for the license exam. It's relevant. It will help you to meet your goal of becoming a real estate agent. And it's time-bound. You will earn your real estate license by March. Of course, the step of getting your real estate license can also be broken down into further SMART goals. But for now, just pick a major goal, break it into SMART goals, then return to your career plan to create smaller and smaller SMART goals. Now, brainstorm 3 to 5 SMART goals you'll need to hit to achieve your major career goal. Think of these goals like steps. What steps do you need to take to attain your career goal? Take 3 minutes to write down 3 to 5 SMART goals that will help you to achieve your major career goal. As you brainstorm your SMART goals, think about key people that you can reach out to who might be able to help you on your career path. Contacting that person can be a SMART goal. Which skills and experiences you need to pursue your career, and how you might obtain those skills and experiences. If you run out of time, return later to finish this process. Choosing your SMART goals is an important step for creating your career path, so make sure you complete this process. Your first set of SMART goals is just a first step toward a completed career plan. Spend some time after this workshop adding more and more SMART goals to your plan. Eventually, your plan should consist of many small steps you can take toward accomplishing your major goals. Once you set deadlines for each SMART goal, you can add those deadlines to your calendar, planner, or a reminder app so that you'll stay on track with launching your new career. The small steps you take every day will help you to create a fulfilling new career path. If you're looking to join a new company during the next phase of your career, you may find yourself scheduling several job interviews. Google just created a free online tool that can help you prepare to make your best impression. The interview warm-up tool helps job seekers practice for upcoming interviews. When you visit the site, you'll be given the opportunity to answer commonly asked interview questions in real time. The tool uses machine learning to transcribe your responses, then analyzes them for patterns, most used words, and job-related terminology. The interview warm-up gives you a low-pressure opportunity to practice your interview answers before speaking with a real-life recruiter or hiring manager. Visit the tool at grow.google/certificates/interview-warmup. There are specifically designed practice interviews for the fields of data analytics, e-commerce, IT support, project management, and UX design. You just need to select a general interview to practice for another field. We hope this workshop helped you to better prepare to navigate a career change with confidence. To recap, you found your why by getting specific about the desires for your career. Next, you got clear on your value by examining your transferable skills. You started applying those updates to your resume. After that, you discovered ways to fill in skill gaps so that you can pursue your new field or career with confidence. And finally, you completed a career change plan consisting of actionable steps toward achieving your career goals. You can get more training on tools for a job search or for a job in any field with Google's Applied Digital Skills. This screenshot shows a few of the free lessons offered on applied digital skills. Anyone can complete these lessons at no cost through this online platform for digital learning. If you enjoy video lessons, subscribe to the Grow with Google YouTube channel at youtube.com/c/Grow with Google. The channel publishes a new video every Thursday covering topics that can help you to grow your skills, career, or business. You can visit Grow with Google On Air to keep growing your digital skills and to help you stay connected and productive while working or searching for a job. We have sessions on topics ranging from career planning to writing a resume. Visit g.co/grow-on-air to learn more, register for live workshops, or watch previously aired workshops on demand. Google Career Certificates can help you to prepare for a new career in under 6 months, part-time. Certificates are available for data analytics, IT support, project management, UX design, and digital marketing and e-commerce. Get started at grow.google/certificates. I wish I had time to thank every Grow with Google partner. We truly appreciate your work supporting job seekers in your communities. These partners shared some additional career planning tips for today's workshop. From WorkSource Oregon, work with local labor exchange and workforce partners. They've spent years helping job seekers find new careers and scale up for new opportunities. They also have expansive networks to support you. From Just for Success Miami, if you're looking for a career change, compare your passions and your strengths with your experience and skills. You'll discover many transferable skills that transcend industry and job function, so focus on where you already have a leg up. From Johnson C. Smith University, for career changers, conduct informational interviews on potential jobs, companies that interest you. This wraps up the presentation portion of today's workshop. Now give us just a few moments to pass it off to Sixia, who will answer some of the questions that you submitted.
Hi everyone, I'm Sixia and I'm excited to answer a few of the questions you've asked throughout the session. And as usual, we received quite a few of them. Now remember, if we don't get to your questions, we'll be back and answer all of them on the Grow with Google on-air page below the virtual event shortly after all of this concludes. All right, everybody, so the first question comes from Andrea. Andrea says, what do I do if I have gaps in my resume and I want to change careers? Andrea, that's a great question. You can always organize your resume in a functional style. That means you would organize your experience by the relevancy of the skills as they relate to the job description requirements, as opposed to the typical chronological order. So you can also fill in the gaps with any other training. Volunteer work is my favorite, or projects that you may have during that time. Now remember, when they're hiring you for your skills, you don't necessarily have to have all of them. It's just important that you list all of your past positions that are connected to the job that you are applying for. Okay. All right. So our next question comes from Jamal, who says, how do I avoid nerves when going into an interview? This is another really good question. You guys are doing really good. All right, Jamal. So first of all, preparation is key. So what I like to do is I like to grab a friend or a family member and ask them some common interview questions. So you can ask them to ask you. So then that way you'll be prepared for anything you might be asked. Next, try to avoid caffeine and get some exercise. So then that way you can calm the nerves before the action interview. You may also try some positive affirmations or some self-talk. So it'll really help to help you stay focused and to help you stay organized. So anyway, that's a really, really good question. Next, we have a question from Finn, who says, is it true that applicants don't need to have 100% of the job qualifications listed on the job posting? Finn, another good one here. Most people applying for positions don't fulfill 100% of the requirements listed. If you feel like you're qualified for the position and fulfill most of the requirements, it's likely smart to still apply for the position you're interested in, okay? So just make sure you highlight your strengths in the skills that you have and the things that they are looking for, okay? All right, our next question comes from Rosalie. Oh, okay. Rosalie says, how do you get over the imposter syndrome or other fears when considering a career change? Hey, Rosalie, thank you so much for asking that. So for those of you not familiar with the imposter syndrome, this is a feeling that you aren't quite good enough to do what it is that you're trying to achieve. Now, this could be a feeling that creeps up when you're switching careers into a field that you haven't worked in before. So I typically find that it helps to remind myself that everyone else is also experiencing this as well. And that you never have right now the opportunity to move forward, especially if you're really excited about this job. I also find that it helps to remind yourself, that this is an opportunity for you to grow. And it's also an opportunity for you to practice your interview skills, okay? So the thing that I always like to acknowledge and tell folks to do is informational interviews are also a great way for you to practice. And it's also a wonderful way to help you figure out whether or not a position is good for you, okay? So anyway, that's also a very good question. Our next question comes from Matt, who says, how frequently should I follow up applying for a job? Okay, so thank you so much, Matt, for asking that question. Most of the time when you've applied for a job, you don't have a point of contact to reach out to, okay? So you probably have to do a ton of research, but you're probably not going to find a contact name or an email or a phone number. You'll likely just be waiting for somebody to reach out to you in regards to the next steps. If you're already within the interview process and a recruiter or hiring manager has indicated when they would get back to you, okay, that's a good sign. But only after the deadline has already passed, then you can go ahead and reach out to them, okay? So those are my tips. I know that folks can get really excited, especially if they're thrilled about this potential opportunity for them to pick up the phone or, send an email. It could be a little bit difficult for you to hold back. But the thing is that you probably won't find the contact information of the person, of the hiring manager. Okay, everyone. So this next question comes from Ellis, who says, does my resume only have to be one page? Okay, this is a good one, okay? Thank you so much, Ellis, for asking that question. So typically it says that applications or applicants can add one or more pages of the resume for every 10 years of work experience. But this can be different for everybody, okay? Because we can't guarantee the hiring manager will go past the first page, we always recommend that the first page be highlighted and be as impactful as possible. So in keeping your resume to one page, it means that you should reduce the margins or sometimes the font. But check this out, okay? It's also best for you if you do need to add an extra page. It's recommended that you do that instead of making the font smaller, because you don't want the hiring manager to be working at trying to read the content that you have on your resume, okay? So keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Ellis, for that question. All right, and so our last question comes from Warren. Hey, Warren. Warren says, I get overwhelmed when my goals seem unattainable or too big. How do I fix that? Okay, Warren, thank you so much for asking that. This happens to so many of us, and it's extremely normal. So guess what? You are not alone. It's really important for you to break large goals into smaller ones. This is really going to help you move forward. So, if you take a look at what was covered in the presentation as it relates to SMART goals, that'll be a good first step. So for instance, if your job is to own a company one day, which would be great, then that could feel a little bit overwhelming at first. But, some of the things you could do to get over this is you can sign up for a free business class or just a business class in general within your local community or within your local community college. So that is a very actionable goal that feels much less overwhelming. So once you start, taking those steps, you can build on each one of these goals until you reach your larger goals, okay? Well, we really got some excellent questions here for this session, but this ends our Q&A session for today. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you all for attending the full session of Navigate a Career Change with Confidence. Hopefully everyone learned something new. So here's another reminder. You can also find all of your follow-up resources on the same page you're watching in the Resources tab below the video player. You can also access a recording of today's session by clicking the On Demand button if you go to g.co/Grow On Air. And we'll also be sending a follow-up email with a survey for you to fill out regarding our experience or your experience in the virtual workshop today. It's It's really important to get feedback so we can quickly improve these sessions and offer content that is most helpful for you and other learners. Thanks again for joining Grow with Google today, and see you next time.